Gregre Kahnawake Ruhiagaya Deojats, Negi, the Kahnawake COVID-19 Task Force Daily Briefing. I'm going to try to do the impossible for the next 10 days, and that's replace the irreplaceable Joe Delarone. Joe's taken a week off, a well-deserved week off. The guy's been working since Christmas, and since the pandemic started, he's been working just about every day, including weekends, nights. He doesn't just host the show, he also does all the press releases you see from the task force as well as the MCK, and attends meetings, and he deals with all the media. So he's a busy guy. Wish him all the best in that week off, and hopefully he gets back here, get me off the air. First and foremost, we want to start off the show by welcoming somebody. We had a briefing earlier on Monday when Dwayne Zachary was talking about the reopening, and it was a bit chaotic. So since then, there's been an update. It's been 6 days now, so we have joining us from the Kahnawake Peacekeepers, one of their newest constables, Wahienhawi Skye. So welcome to the show, Wahienhawi.
Hi.
So Wahienhawi, you've been out there on the front line since Monday, since the reopening. Dwayne gave an update on the reopening that first day. What's it been like since then?
It's still been pretty chaotic. It comes in waves. Sometimes it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. First thing, there's already lineups out down the highway. Other days, it's calm. You know, there's not many traffic complaints. So it's on and off. Most of the time, though, around like lunchtime, that's when we start getting all the complaints on 132. Still people driving in, backing out, not caring about other motorists on the road. It was kind of nice since quarantine because there was no traffic. We didn't really have to patrol as much. It was really calm. Since then, there's a lot of road rage incidents, people getting angry, so we've been busy with that as well.
Has that been one of the biggest calls for complaints to the peacekeepers?
Since the businesses have reopened, I'd say that, and also non-locals coming into the community. Although the businesses are open, we've been seeing a lot of people just coming to walk around, maybe go to the island. However, those places are still closed off to residents only, so we've been getting calls for that and been keeping busy.
And we hear stories, we see stories sometimes on Facebook or different places where about outsiders and different instances. What should people do when they see something suspicious?
Well, not all non-locals are up to something suspicious. I think some of them are just really curious to be here. You know, they're interested in our community. We had a lot of tourists before this, so sometimes, you know, it's just they're here innocently. Other times, we do catch people being suspicious, and it turns out to turn into files, and it's a good thing that people call it in, otherwise we wouldn't be catching these people, and there's nothing wrong with stopping and questioning people. We're not doing it maliciously, we're just making sure, you know, you have a valid reason to be here. And then most times, you know, they're just visiting. Other times it leads to something else, and I don't really go into it, that's for Dwayne to speak about, but it does help us catch people that are here for the wrong reasons.
And so this is difficult for anybody. I mean, in this job, yeah, you're new. You've been here less than a year on the force. Just give us that perspective of being new and get thrown right into a pandemic like this.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. However, before this, I was still cautious with like hand washing, hygiene. We don't always deal with the nicest people, so since I started, it's always a good thing to keep your distance. You don't want to be close to criminals in the first place, especially if they're, you know, not saying the nicest things or doing the nicest things back. So it's not really that much of a difference from what we were doing before. I mean, we're taking more precautions now, especially like disinfecting in between transports. If we have to come into contact, you know, we ask like I guess like questions, have you been traveling? We do the same thing as anywhere else would do, like screening them for signs and symptoms. They probably aren't telling us the truth anyway, so we're just gonna take all the precautions.
Now, one thing for yourself that's really advantageous for the peacekeepers and the Kahnawake community as well is that you're also a nurse. Could you just talk a little bit about how that comes in handy, especially at a time like this, being a peacekeeper and a nurse at the same time?
Yeah, I take it to my advantage. It does help me with my people skills. It's not always like criminal calls that come in, it's medical aids. So as a peacekeeper, we have faster cars, especially if like a really serious call is coming in, like someone's unresponsive or choking. It's our advantage with our cars to get there first on scene. Sometimes the ambulance, they get there as fast as they can, but in the meantime, we can help. And so my medical training does help me with stuff like that. I find it is reassuring too. Sometimes I'll mention I'm a nurse, and then the people are able to like calm themselves a little bit more and just get vital information just in case any, like their status changes until the ambulance arrives. So yeah, I'm using it to my advantage.
All right, so I'll leave you with just if you want to say any last words before we get to we have a video to show after this, but if you have any last words for the community.
No, I just think all community members have been doing a good job keeping vigilant, calling in what they think is suspicious. Even if you're not sure, you're better off just to call for your peace of mind and everyone else's. You never know. And even if it turns out to be nothing, at least, you can still go check it out. Everyone I find is on edge these days. It's a very scary time. We're just trying to do our best. Give us patience. Sometimes we're just as scared as the other people. We don't want to get infected or pass it on to other people. If there's anything we're doing that you might not find wrong, it's always better to give constructive criticism. I personally wouldn't mind getting that if I'm not doing something right. You could just pull me aside and say like, oh, I would appreciate it maybe if you did this some way or this way, and I'll take it into consideration. And just, it's better to do that.
All right, great. Thanks for stopping by Wahienhawi, and we look forward to seeing you out there again, protecting our community. On that note, she was talking about, people constructive criticism. We see a lot of the task force and what they get. That's just something for you. If you're going to be emailing the task force or calling the task force, just be nice to be polite. You're giving constructive criticism, but you don't have to be nasty about it. They'll listen to you. So this is something that maybe we can do together going forward. We have last week we had Natalie Beauvais on from the Step by Step, and she was just talking about different procedures. Now that things are reopening, more and more people need that kind of service for youngsters under 5 for daycare. And she also invited us to go in and do a video and to see what it's like. So she gave us a walkthrough, and we have that for you now.
Hi, I'm Natalie Beauvais. I'm the Executive Director at Step by Step. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to be removing my mask so that you can hear me better. So I'm going to be putting it into the garbage. When you arrive at Step by Step and you bring your children, you'll see these orange lines on the ground. You are asked to wait at one of the orange lines or wait inside your car until it is free. And only one individual at a time comes in with their child. Over there we have a chair for the child, a chair for the parent. It's going to be an educator that comes in here in full equipment. They will have a mask and they will have a visor or they will have goggles on. The child is asked to put both feet into the virucidal agent bucket where there's a towel, and we tell them you're squishing out the germs. And on the wall we have the questions that are asked to each of the parents. Every single day we're asking the exact same questions. So we're going to ask parents to remain patient as we go through this process, as only one child, one family at a time is permitted. If I'm the educator with the child, I take the child in with me, and then I will be going to the classroom with the child. Staff and visitors will need to sign in. We need to know who is in the building each day. No parent comes into the building unless they absolutely have to. We have maintenance that goes around all day long, wiping down the high-touch surfaces, doorknobs. They will wipe down reception area. This is what our new reality of a classroom looks like. There's very limited to no toys out. The educators are only taking out buckets and providing it to the children, who will be spaced out. So each of these buckets, for instance, this one here has animals in it, and it would be placed on this table with a child. And the next one, which would have some blocks on it, would be placed on a second table. for another child. And as soon as one of these items goes in the mouth, the educator takes that, goes over to the water bucket that has warm, sudsy water, and sanitizes that item and brings it back. Every time the bucket is finished being played with, it needs to be disinfected. We do circle differently. We don't have all the children in one area in the corner anymore. They will be put into different areas as much as possible. Mealtime, any snack time, when they go down for a nap, they are all separated by a minimum of 6 feet. The bedding is going to be washed every single day. They are all asked to bring extra change of clothes. And if any of the body fluids of the child gets on an educator, the educator has to wash and they have to remove and replace their clothing as well. They will not be going on walks on a rope because of the social distancing and having to disinfect the rope. So what we're doing is we're going to be splitting our backyard in half. We do take out the bikes and we take out sticks and balls and chalk and all types of other equipment that is wiped down immediately or throughout the day as well. We also have a fenced-in area, which is our forest. We have our gardens out front that they're going to be doing planting and harvesting in. The gymnasium is open, and that as well is disinfected after each group has used it. As much as possible, the children remain in their classroom if they're not outside, and the ratio for teachers is 1 to 4 children or 1 to 5 children, so that we are not mixing groups, so that we are not sharing educators, and we are not moving children. For diaper changing, they will continue to do that on the diaper changing area, and they have to continue to follow the procedures with the gloves, the full personal protective equipment. However, it is so important to note that we do not and cannot social distance from the children. When the children need us and they come to us and we need to hold them, we need to change their diapers, we need to console them, and that's why our educators will be in the mask. With the full mask on, you can't see your face. They are asked to be very animated with the children, so to make big eyes and to be more movement, so on, and the tone of their voice is so important, and inviting and loving and caring, because you don't get to see the smile or to see the sadness or, you know, the face, the expressions just aren't there. All of the measures that we've put in place, those are all part of a collaboration through directives received from the Minister of Families, through the INSPQ Public Health, as well as our KMHC, our nurse, and the COVID task force. So as a parent, you have a choice if this is where you want your child to be, or if this is where you are comfortable with your child being. We will do everything in our power to keep them safe and to keep ourselves safe as well, while we all navigate these difficult times. Kahnawake.
Now, and Natalie, thanks for that walkthrough. If anybody needs child services, daycare services, the phone number at Step by Step is 450-632-7603. They'll be open on Monday, I believe. Anybody who needs a blood test but has been reluctant to go to the hospital, you might want to check out the show tomorrow. We have a special thing on that, new procedures, etc. A similar walkthrough as you've seen with Natalie. So until then, we'll just tell you to stay clean, stay apart, and stay home, Kahnawake, and we'll see you tomorrow. Nyawa for joining us.